This is what I'm going to be showing you how to make in this video. And these. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make sounds with Serum for techno. Literally every style of techno sound in this video, we're going to be covering it. I'm going to be showing you hard techno, like the more modern melodic stuff, as well as more like 130 BPM peak time type of techno. To go along with this video, I just dropped a new preset and sample pack called Definitive Techno Serum Presets Volume 1. The link is right at the top of the description. I'll show you guys some of these presets here. So you can see, we got Serum open. I'm going to be showing you how to use that in this video. And here is the pack. So you can see, we've got 10 basses, some stabs, some reese basses, just some different good sounds that you need to make techno. 10 leads, 10 pads, and 10 plucks as well. So you literally have everything that you need to make a really great techno track. Everything you just heard is in this pack, plus so much more. Really don't miss out on this. You guys have requested that I make a Serum video and a pack for a while, so now today, here it is. Again, link is at the top of the description. For just $10, you get all these awesome sounds, plus you get all these demo files as well as the project file for each of the 2 demo tracks, which I'm going to be going over in this video to show you how to make these sounds. So again, don't miss out. This is some great inspiration or just a great thing to learn from and really grow from if you've been struggling. Link is at the top of the description. It really helps support me, but it's also something you could grab right now where you'll get these 2 really high quality track templates plus the presets and everything you need to make a really awesome track and take your tracks to the next level today. I promise you, this pack is something you can get right now that will take your tracks to the next level right this moment. Don't miss out. Links at the top of the description. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's dive in. Alright, so we've got one of these project files here in front of me. I'm going to be just showing you all the synths, and then I'll also show you some other ones in the other project. So, first thing we got here is this really nice little bass stab. And you can see all of these sounds that I'm going to show you today are pretty much dry, besides a little bit of filtering or side chaining to make it fit into the track. But everything you're hearing is straight out of Serum. So I'm going to start by showing you how to make these kinds of bass stabs, which are very popular in techno, and kind of like a mysterious sound, right? Like a lot of people will tell you, oh, like, you know, it's a square wave with a low pass filter and an envelope or something like that. But if you really try to do that advice a lot of the times, you end up a little bit lost. So basically what it is here is, you can see it's actually a saw wave. And this is one of the presets from the pack. It's a saw wave with a bunch of unison on it. And then we have also an LFO here on the envelope mode. So this is kind of the nice thing about Serum, is using these LFOs, you can set them to envelope mode, meaning when you press a note, it plays one time and then it doesn't like keep rolling. And you can create your own envelopes, and it allows you to sort of just draw in. You can do much more complex stuff than this even. So I've got this as like this very fast little pluck. And then that's on the pitch, plus the filter cutoff of the bandpass. And it's a very little amount, because if you do too much, see, it starts to become like a little bit too zappy. So just there is good. We got some resonance, a bit of drive and fatness, but it's only one oscillator. Then in the effects, we have a little bit of chorus. We have this compressor on the multiband setting, which this is probably the biggest thing for this. If I turn this off, see, we just have this little... But that's what really, you know, it's that multiband compression where it's almost like OTT, where it just really pulls everything up and makes it really fat. And then we just have some reverb. So that's how you can make some of those. Again, it's not that hard. It's really that really fast envelope and really getting the percussive thing right. So then we have this reese bass. So this is much like a lot of the reeses I've shown you guys on this channel before, but with Serum we're able to go a little bit deeper. So you can see this one is made with 2 saw waves detuned one of them is a bit detuned. We also have a little bit of noise in there. And the noise is a really good hack, especially with Serum where you can really control the noise. Like when I do this with Wavetable, there's no noise, so you can't really get this. But the nice thing about adding some noise to your respace is when you go into the effects tab here, and you can see we have some distortion and we have the phaser as well. That noise is going to kind of shape how the saw waves and the phaser and the distortion interact. Because like if you just send some saw waves into noise, you get or into distortion, you get a very fat sound. But if you send white noise with it, what's happening is distortion is essentially like a very extreme compression, right? Where it's just compressing the signal so much that it's distorting. That's a very simplified version of distortion. Don't quote me on that, but for this sake. And what's happening here is when you put this noise into the distortion with the saw waves, now it's like pushing up against the saw waves. So here's without it. And then with it. So you can hear like a lot more crunch in the high end. And it's not just because there's noise in there, it's because you put the noise in, and then the secret is what you do is turn it all the way down and just turn it up like until you get that crunch you're looking for. And it's almost like a filter or like an effect or something, like what it'll sound like when you bring it in. You know, and we have the perfect amount of crunch there. So again, we have some distortion here. It's this diode distortion, and that really does a lot of crunching too, like especially if we turn that up. You can hear how that'll just like really compress that waveform. So it works well for that white noise trick. And then the phaser. That's another beautiful thing with Serum. Is with Serum you have this phaser, and what you can do is you turn the rate all the way down. And also the phase, which ironically is the phaser. Why are we turning the phase down? Well, because if you keep it at the default setting, so you get like weird stereo stuff. So you turn it down so it's mono on 0, and then the rate so that there's no like movement. And then now you just have this really cool filter. Like it's great because it just adds this like really juicy kind of texture. Here's without it. See, obviously it's definitely textured, but the phaser just adds that little thing. Especially if we bring up the mix, you could do even more. Like you don't have that in Wavetable. And yeah, that's it for that sound. Besides, there's also a bit of pulse width on this oscillator, you can see, which has got an LFO on it. And we have a little bit of FM from A. And you can see if I turn that down, it just adds a little bit, like when we turn it back up, it just adds a little bit more crunch into there. Cool. So then we have this pad, and that plays with the bass. So this is made again with Serum, and this is one of the ones where, see, there's a little sidechain, a little high pass filter, but nothing like outside of Serum. You can make these work entirely in Serum. You don't need to put a bunch of like reverb and delay on your sounds. You can do all that stuff in here. So you can see what's happening is we've got this little like kind of clipped sine wave in the sub oscillator. So that's another trick, is you can actually use the sub oscillator as a third oscillator. The only difference is that you just are kind of stuck with these simpler waveforms. You can't do all the wavetables, but it's great. But also with Serum, I've never really needed more than 2 or 3 oscillators. So we've got that. We've got a saw wave with a bunch of unison, and then we have a pulse wave with a bunch of unison, and the pulse width on that has an LFO on it. So you can see we're using a lot of different LFOs here too to get a lot of different movement. But yeah, just having that little movement with one LFO that's only on that one thing. So there's like all these different layers of movement in here because you have that, but then you also have another LFO which is doing different movement, like at a different speed on the filter. And then in the effects, we have a little bit of an LFO on the distortion on the mix there. So we have a sine shaper, and then we're using, see how that like kind of goes into the sound? We've got that. So there's a lot of movement on here. And by using multiple different LFOs, which again, Serum's great for this because you can have up to 8. you get so much more like dimension to the sound. Like, this is one of the secrets. Like, you ask, like, how do you get these big, like, moving sounds that sound complex? Well, it's pretty simple, all things considered. Well, it's the different movements. It's the different LFOs. And it's the fact that it's, like, all kind of not fully synced together. That's the sound. So then, the last sound we have in this project, before I show you the more main room techno real quick, is this lead. Which is 2 layers, so we got this guy. Kind of like the body of the sound. And then this guy. Which you can here add some nice high end. So, for the first layer, this is one of the leads from my pack. Again, link is at the top of the description. And for this, we're using some of these more complex waveforms. So I really like, that's another thing I really like about Serum, is like, when you're using wavetable or analog or something like that, or just like a very basic synth, where it's really just like saw wave, square wave, like obviously you can do wavetables in wavetable, but just in terms of like Serum just having this really extensive bank of these analog wavetables, and that's right off the bat too. Like, you get that the day when you download Serum. You don't have to download a pack for that. You don't have to import anything. It's right there. So using those can give you a lot of different textures, because these leads, like when you're making techno, you guys know, like, you just end up with a lot of the same like saw wave and square wave sounds. But with these, you can get something very different. So we've got that one. It's like a square wave. We got that one. Low pass filter with an envelope. Also an envelope on the wavetable position. And then we have a phaser, again, like using it more like a filter to add a different texture. Some chorus, some reverb, delay. A bit of sinoid fold, which can be good on the leads, especially after reverb and delay. And then just the EQ cutting out the low end. And then this one. Again, same deal, actually using similar stuff. These two are kind of designed to work together. So it's the same wavetables, but we're tweaking it a little bit. It's like a little bit more bright. And there we go. So that's how you make a bunch of hard techno sounds. Let's talk now really quick about some more main room techno sounds you can make with Serum. Alright, so this is the first demo track from my new pack. So I'm going to show you, now we're at 130 BPM. More of this style techno sound. And we start up here with the lead. So you can hear it's a really juicy lead. You can get a nice texture out of Serum. And that's 2 layers. It's this guy. And this one. And you can hear they complement each other, because this one really gives you that nice body. And this one just fills out the mid-range and highs a bit more. And you get one really fat lead. So what's happening here is the first layer is, again, this is all from the pack. So we've got more of these analog wavetables that just give you different textures. This one, you can see there's some movement. We've got an LFO on the wavetable position. We've also got a bit of unison, but the detune's down all the way. And this very fast envelope, which you can see I put that on the white noise only. But then this is the volume envelope, but then I did like an extra on the white noise. And that makes the white noise just a bit sharper, so it kind of fits better in there. Then we've got a phaser with an envelope on the frequency. A band pass filter with an envelope on the cutoff. Some delay, a bit of distortion, and you can see I'm even got the envelope on that to kind of make it like move into the sound like that. Yeah, and then the second layer here. So this guy, we've got this dirty saw wavetable and this and you can see there's some FM happening there. So this one's how you get a little bit more like aggressive sound. We got a low pass also with that same envelope, again using the LFO and envelope mode. A bit of chorus, flanger with the same trick where I turn the rate and the phase off and it's more like a filter. The more distortion, just make it really fat and full. some delay, reverb, and then just an EQ cutting out the low end. Put them together, just a little bit of delay, and then we have the low pass and the auto pan to kind of filter it into the track and stuff. Then we have these stabs. And this is where you can really get creative with like putting a few of these together. You can see we've got first this one. So this is one of those FM stabs I was talking about. You can see we've got this square, this BSOD square, and then this like weird analog saw. And you can hear both of them, but then there's also FM happening. And that's also an interesting thing with Serum, is that it's an FM synth. You can do FM in it, but it's like not normal FM, where normally FM, it's like the carrier and the modulator. You're only hearing the carrier. Here, it's like you're hearing the carrier and the modulator, because the modulator is just playing on its own, and it's doing FM. And you can get just more interesting sounds this way. And you can see that FM envelope is just giving us a nice, like, aggressive pluck. We've also got this linear fold, an envelope on the filter cutoff as well, some reverb, delay. The next one is kind of similar. So this one's like a bit more. You can see we've got these acid wave tables here. And we're also doing FM. And then similar, we've got a filter, linear fold. And then we have this third stab here. And so this one is almost like a, like I was trying to make almost a little bit like the sandstorm type of sound. So what's happening here is it's two sine waves. This is almost like some old school like dubstep stuff here, where basically you got two sine waves, but one is very much higher. Like you can see it's 3 octaves and a fifth up. And then what happens is you distort those. We've got this tube distortion and it's up super high. So you almost, it sounds like some like square waves or something. But yeah, it just gives you like a really cool sound, because those two sine waves at very different octaves being distorted together. Then we just have some reverb. A bit more of this multiband compressor I was showing you guys earlier. This again makes a big difference. Like if I turn it off. And then just a bit of EQ. And then the last thing we have down here is another just very powerful reese bass. You can see there's some automation on the filter cutoff of this one. So again, it's a reese where it's a saw wave and another saw wave detuned a bunch, but we've got a bit of noise. This one's got this pulse width. Again, same thing with the distortion. And then we're just low passing it and automating that to really just like bring it to life and keep it moving through the track. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted to make you guys a Serum video and a pack. You guys have been asking for it. Now it's available. Link is at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support. This really helps me. I don't make a whole lot off of these videos, but with these packs and everything like that, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. So if I've helped you, definitely go grab it. But it's really not just about me. These are also to support you and give you guys really high quality resources that you can take today and make better tracks. You know, with this pack, you get all of these Serum presets. Again, 40 different Serum presets, plus the demo tracks in 2 different styles, full track templates, finished, mixed, mastered, everything like that, with everything you need. And yeah, it's a really, really solid pack. Like, you really don't want to miss this while it's available. Links at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support, guys. This is a really awesome Serum preset pack. I wish I had this when I was making these techno tracks. Thank you so much for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.